Hey everybody, it is Virginia Muskies here, the referral diva with BNI Mid-America, and today I am super excited to talk to you about client acquisition. You guys know if you are not working every single day on growing your network, expanding your influence, and creating new leads for your business isn't going to go where you want it to go in 2016. So today I have a really special guest, good friend. We actually started building our businesses pretty much at the same time, about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm here today with Josh Turner, and I'm going to go ahead and just introduce you to him and let Josh tell you who he is and give you a little bit about his history so that you know why you should listen to him and trust his advice. I know I have, and a lot of my clients have, and I just think your stuff, Josh, is the bomb. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for doing this and having me on. And about myself and what I do. So I from St. Louis, as you are, Virginia, and I am the founder and CEO of a company called Linked Selling. So I started the business back in 2010. And before that, I was the CFO of a construction company that closed in 2009. And the company closed, and I was kind of, faced with the decision, probably like a lot of people on this call at some point in their life, of do I want to go get another job or do I want to go out on my own? And everybody that is faced with that decision comes to that fork in a road from different circumstances. But that was kind of the impetus for me to realize that I didn't want to work for other people anymore. I wanted to do my own thing. And so I started initially working as an outsourced CFO for small businesses in the St. Louis area. And one of the ways that I was able to get my first client in the door, and then a couple more clients after that, was getting really active with LinkedIn. So I had been using LinkedIn since 2006, which is pretty early on in LinkedIn's lineage. And I had really been doing what most people had done with it, just kind of building an online Rolodex, but I was also using it for business development for that construction company that I worked for. So I had a pretty good foothold with LinkedIn and a really strong network built up. And then I really took it to the next level and really started connecting with more and more people and started developing strategies that helped me grow the outsourced CFO business to the point where, within my first year, I was able to build it up to a pretty decent income and had, at any given time, 6 or 7 or 8 clients that I was doing work for and charging, a pretty good hourly rate for. And in 2011, I had a couple clients who really almost at the exact same time had come to me and said, we've noticed these things that you're doing on LinkedIn, and we're thinking maybe that some of that stuff could work for our business. What do you think? And I helped them, lay out a plan for how they could use LinkedIn to get in front of more prospects, nurture relationships, build relationships with new potential clients, and drive those prospects off of LinkedIn into real world conversations with them or somebody on their sales team. And, they said, wow, this looks like a great plan. We have no idea what you're talking about, Josh. So would you be willing to do this for us? And long and short of it is that I ended up working out a deal with one of them to basically run a LinkedIn lead generation campaign for them. And almost immediately I realized that there's probably a lot of other businesses out there that might be interested in this type of service. And that was back in 2011. And the company, really has exploded since. Really pretty quickly, I stopped doing the finance work that I was doing because I saw just really 2 things. One, that linked selling and the kind of work that my company now does had greater growth potential than what I was doing as an outsourced CFO. And also that I was not passionate anymore about finance stuff and helping people with spreadsheets. And so for me, it was really a blessing that this all kind of fell together for me or fell in my lap. And since then, we've helped hundreds of clients that have hired our agency to do it for them, all the way from big companies like Microsoft and, really well-known people like, Neil Patel and Lisa Sasevich and stuff like that to small businesses that were just like me when I was getting started and everything in between. And we have, really carved out a position for ourselves in the marketplace as one of the top companies in the world when it comes to helping businesses grow using LinkedIn. And the reason why we've been so successful is that for us, it's not about LinkedIn. It's about building systems to develop relationships with people online, and then leveraging those relationships to generate appointments. And at the end of the day, we're really in the business of helping our clients get in front of more prospects and generate more appointments. So that's pretty much what our business is. We also have training programs. 6,000 plus business owners have been through our training program, Linked University, and over the years, our workshops and seminars that we conduct, we've served over, I think, 100,000 and something businesses that have been through the workshops and such. And so it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to, impact a lot of folks and their businesses. And, that's kind of where we're at today.
I am really excited about our relationship because, as a referral marketing coach, I've talked to, for example, sales trainers, and they can teach people to be great salespeople and have great sales conversations. And that's really awesome, unless you don't have anyone to have the sales conversation with, right?
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
One of the things that what I've loved about your work, and where it's really helped me, particularly as an executive director with BNI, is the ability to help my people continue to add people to their network, because it takes a lot of time to go to lots of networking events and hand out lots of business cards and collect up lots of business cards and create those relationships. And
Right.
So the strategies that you teach in LinkedIn are really, for me, that it's, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. You can go out, you can connect with some people, you can curate a group, you can curate some content, you can establish yourself as an expert, you can get that appointment, and then you can add that person to your network. And for me, I'm all about identifying the connectors, so what we call the golden geese. So it's not always, from BNI standpoint, it's not only who can I get as a client, but who can I invite to join my network that could provide a steady stream of clients to myself and my business partners, my referral partners in my group. And so when Connect came out, I was super excited about that. And, I supported you when that one came out, and I love the book. And it's, believe it or not, it's on my annual reading list, right up there with Think and Grow Rich, because I think what you teach is so valuable, and it takes time to really learn it and implement all of it. But like back to back, there's another book. So what's up with this new book that's coming out next month?
Yeah, great question. So it's the new book is called Booked, as in booked with prospects, appointments, all those things. And really, what the book is about is it's a system to solve I believe, what's the biggest problem that faces business owners, and absolutely small business owners, which is that the majority of them struggle to maintain consistent cash flow. We did a study recently of 1,200 business owners. 87% of them reported that they struggle to maintain consistent cash flow. And by cash flow, I mean enough money coming in to pay the bills, to pay yourself, and have some profit left over. And most businesses aren't able to achieve that on a consistent basis. And the really interesting finding that came from this study was that of those 87% that struggle with cash flow, almost all of them reported that they do not have systems in place to consistently bring new prospects into their business, new leads, new appointments, so that they can have a steady stream of clients that they're bringing on board. And when you look at the 13% of businesses that do not have cash flow problems, probably not surprising to hear that those businesses almost all reported that they do have those kinds of systems in place, right? So Booked is our system for generating as many appointments and leads as you need to meet your goals for getting new clients in your business. And it's a step-by-step system for our entire process. And the reason why we wrote a new book is because really, Connect is a LinkedIn process, essentially, that we outline in that book, of how to combine LinkedIn with webinars to get some really great results, right? And Booked is really the next level of how to take the LinkedIn strategies and integrate them with even more places that your prospects can be reached, such as Facebook, as well as integrating it with email. And so Book is really about a philosophy and what we call a movement that's really happening in business right now. And it's about a system that is not platform specific, and you can really implement the things that we teach in Booked anywhere that your prospects can be reached. And the the platforms that we teach in the book are specifically LinkedIn, Facebook, and email. So that's why I wrote a new book. I would like to say maybe it's a bit more holistic than Connect. It's not necessarily a LinkedIn book. It's a book to show you a system for getting in front of prospects no matter where they are at, positioning yourself as really a go-to expert that they can rely on and trust, developing that relationship to the point where you're then generating leads and appointments at a really consistent level so that you can get off that cash flow roller coaster. So that's what it is.
You know, in my coaching, I think you've been to a couple of my events, and we certainly did that webinar together. So, you know, I also talk about the revenue roller coaster, right? That inability to really focus on keeping your cash flow consistent. And so many small business owners that I work with, and my guess is it's that same 87%, right, that you're talking about.
Sure.
But there's a sort of a disconnect in the mind, and this is not something you and I talked that we were going to talk about, so it's a little organic, but this notion that prospecting, like, it takes too much time. Folks are so focused on delivery, right? So they get a client, they work the client, they deliver to the client, they wait for the money and stress because they don't have any other prospects, and they're not keeping that pipeline full. And one of the things that I've just loved about your system, there's a twofold piece here. Number one, it doesn't take much time to stoke the fire, if it will, to gather up the firewood, right? And get that big, tall pile of wood that you can start to work with and start to cull relationships from. It doesn't take that much time every single day. Even somebody who is an introvert can do it. So a lot of introverts have a tough time getting out there on the networking scene. And for me, I'm pretty much an ambivert, but I'm on the more extroverted side, but I still don't like networking in big crowds all that much because I feel like I'm at a middle school dance and it just brings back horrible memories. So what I've loved about this, I've loved it because I can just do it in my pajamas. I can just, I can multitask while I'm working, and I can do a lot of these things. So, can you talk just a little bit, without giving out, I know we don't have time to talk about the how, but can you give whoever's watching this hangout, give my network just a quick 1, 2, 3, like, if you really want to stoke your pipeline, if you really want to fill it, keep the fires burning, you got to do these 2 or 3 things with some consistency, and then maybe give us like one little takeaway that everybody could get started with until the book comes out.
Sure. Sounds good. So first off, I want to, I appreciate you bringing up those 2 points you made, because the system we teach in the book is not something that has to consume your entire life. You can bolt it on to what you're already doing. And like you said, 20 to 30 minutes a day, you can get some really great results if you're willing to just carve out that time and make it happen. I spoke with one of our students, Dan Demers, recently. He's a member of our training program, not a client of our agency per se. He is spending 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week, and he's generated 5 figures a month in recurring revenue through the systems that he's implemented and the system that we've taught him to implement. 20 minutes a day. So it's really just a matter of doing the work. And a lot of people think, yeah, but even just finding an extra 20 or 30 minutes a day, I'm already doing all these other things. I got these clients and yada, yada, yada. And there was a study that came out not too long ago. I don't remember what it was, but it basically said the average American spends 3-point-something hours a day on social media. And now I'm guessing most of the people that are listening to this are going to say, well, that's not me though. And that's okay. Even if you're spending a little less than that, we don't have to admit it right now, but even if you're spending less than that, you're still spending a lot. And I want you to assess whether or not that time is being really spent productively, and you can really tie serious business results to that time you're spending. I mean, I know some of it is not about business. You just, we enjoy connecting with family and friends, right? But the stuff that you feel like is somehow business related, like just going on LinkedIn and checking your inbox, or like, whatever it might be, that's really not moving the needle for you, reallocate some of that time in a way that is productive and is really results based with a system like the one we teach in my book. And I think that's a great way to look at the whole I don't have time for this kind of issue, and it really kind of just eliminates that problem. So to speak to your question, really at the end of the day, what the book teaches is how to position yourself as an authority and a leader in the eyes of your prospects, as a real more of a peer to them than just some vendor that's kind of trying to sell them and pitch them on something, right? And when you achieve that kind of positioning, which the way we teach it can be done very systematically and very quickly, and it's, you just follow the process that we lay out in the book, and you'll have it up and running very quickly, and people will view you as an authority and a leader in a very a short amount of time. And then how to leverage that status to then really work prospects through a process that gets you on the phone or face to face with them, right? And then how to move those people from there into becoming clients. And so there's 5 pillars essentially that we have to the system that we teach in the book. There's the foundation. There is building your authority leadership platform. There is the database building process. There is the messaging process. And then there's what we call the email blueprint. And again, the entire system can be implemented whether it's wherever your prospects are, I should say. And for some people, that's going to be LinkedIn. For some people, your target market might be better reached on Facebook. And for almost everybody, we recommend implementing email in addition to whichever other platforms you're implementing the system on. And at the end of the day, some folks will do all of the above because, you want to try and reach your prospects wherever they can be found. And this is one way to do that. So if you want to get into any more of the specifics of the different, those 5 pillars, I'd be happy to. But in terms of what to do to get started, because I know the book is coming out soon, I think Virginia's gonna share when it comes out with everybody listening to this how you can actually get a copy of it for free, 100% free. So I'm super excited about that because I know obviously it's going to get the book in a lot of people's hands and make a big difference. But until that time, I think the one thing that I would want you to do is to be starting on what is the first step in the foundation, the first pillar of the system, which is getting really clear on who your ideal client is. And we call that developing a prospect profile. Basically, put together a 1-page cheat sheet on exactly who it is that you want to be reaching. And that can be both demographic and psychographic. So it can be talking about things like, job titles, company size, geography, all those kinds of things. Really just get down to the sweet spot of who it is that you want to be going after. Because then once you're really clear on that, implementing the other steps in the system is half the battle is just being clear on who you're going after. So many people I see out there are just kind of spraying all over the place. Whereas when you're super, super targeted, the rest of the system works much better. So that's what I would say would be the best place to start.
I love that, Josh. And I do think you're right, because if you run out and you start, amassing all these LinkedIn connections, and then you start spraying the world with your emails and everything, and you're just shotgunning it, the results probably won't be there. And then what happens is the human mind starts to draw connections and say, well, that system doesn't work. But the foundation is really, really important. And love that you talked about psychographics. Love that you talked about demographics. Seth Godin talks about it in his book, Tribes. So anybody who's listening, before you read Josh's book, you might want to read Tribes to kind of understand this concept. Most people think if they're not broadcasting to everybody and anybody that they're missing out on opportunity. And that's not how your brain works. And that isn't how we connect with each other. You've got to have a person thinking, oh, you're talking to me. And so guys, take Josh's advice on that one and get really super clear on who you want to serve. And keep this in mind. Once you develop this as a skill, and Josh, you might be able to to address this, but I think once you get the habit, once you get the skill set, you can run multiple parallel kinds of campaigning things, right? Like you can take
Yep.
your system and apply it to real estate agents. Then you can take the system and apply it to financial advisors. Then you can take the system and apply it to coaches and consultants. You can apply it to different tribes, but you want different messaging to address their top of mind problems, and you want to curate
Yes.
different content for each of those groups, correct?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. I mean, it's if you're a business that serves a lot of different types of people, you can either try and be all things to all of those people by putting out a generic message that might be interesting to some of them. Or if you follow the process we lay out, you can develop individual campaigns that really target those niches, exactly what you said, and it can work very, very well.
Perfect. Well, listen, Josh, I know that I got to bounce, you got to bounce, and we agreed to about 20, 30 minutes today. So I'm going to thank everybody who tuned in, and I'm going to ask you guys to really keep looking in your inbox, because as soon as the book comes out, I'm going to send out a link to everybody I know and encourage you all to grab this book. And I'm going to guess, because I've seen book launches before and I know what you did before, Josh, you're going to be doing some live webinar stuff or something down the road, right? So people can get a little more
Yep.
information from you and get to know you better a little bit down the road, correct?
Yeah, we will be. Yeah, and actually, just to give folks a heads up, when Virginia sends you the information about the book when it comes out, which again, I'm super grateful for your support once again, Virginia. So thank you for that. But when you get that, you're also going to have access when you sign up to get the book for free. You're going to have access to some video training that's complimentary to the book and walks you through the systems in even more depth. And then we're probably going to be doing some webinars and such as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for all that stuff too.
Yeah. So Josh, I just want to thank you so much, because obviously our systems really mesh very well together, and you've been a great supporter of me. I've really loved working with some of the folks out of your network that chose to work with me over the last 6 months. And I'm so excited for your book coming out. And I'm looking forward to getting my book out on the back end as well. But I just want to thank you so much for being so in support of small business. Small business is my heart. I believe small businesses create and sustain the world, and where small business is thriving, communities also thrive in the process. And so thank you for the work that you do to help small business owners get a grip on their marketing and get a grip on their client acquisition in the way that you do. And thanks for being so willing to share your time and your expertise with my network, because I know we all really do appreciate you. So those are my last words. Got anything else, Josh?
No, I think that I think we're all good, but I would just, echo what you just said about, small business. And it's something that I talk about in the book, is that, small business is the #1 driver of, economic growth in this country, at least. And, it's really, it's a shame that so many small businesses don't have the resources to really reach their potential. And, it's an issue that hits home for me, because I've worked in a couple of businesses that have failed, that got to a decent size and then had to shut their doors because they ran out of work. And it's a passion of mine to help get these systems in the hands of more small business owners to prevent that from happening to more people. And so if my work can help, one business owner solve some of these problems that they have and get off that cash flow roller coaster, get some more clients in the door, then it makes it all worth it. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to share with your audience and to have your support as well. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Josh. Guys, keep your eyes open for that, and we're going to sign off now. So until we all meet again, be remarkable, and thanks again to Josh Turner.